you guys, I am here in semi-bad lighting with no makeup and drowsy eyes because I just got back from my local, my local recent. Neither of those are words that I was looking to use. My bi-weekly prayer meeting that I go to with people that I used to go to church with way back in the day. And I fell asleep on the way home while my uncle was driving. I was not behind the wheel of the car. So I'm a little drowsy, and I had intended to make a video earlier, but I got mixed up with baking things for our bake sale that we're having on Friday, and yeah, so my bangs are crazy where I slept on them in the car. Anyway, I had, decent lighting right there. I want to talk to you guys tonight about a book, and that book is called Poison by Bridget Zinn, and it has a really great cover. I really enjoy it. It has a picture of the main character, Kira, and Rosie, her pig. Rosie is the cutest pig. It's like, she's magical, and she can track things. So she's like a hunting dog, except she's a pig, which is really, really awesome. This book, clearly fantasy novel. I think it's really obvious that you can tell that from the cover. But it's about Kira, who is a master potioner, which I think is really cool because that's an awesome job for a girl who is in a fantasy novel. And the whole point of the book is that she also is a witch. She can see things in the future, and she has this vision that leads to her having to kill her best friend. But when she goes to do that, she misses, and so she becomes a fugitive in her kingdom and has to go on the run while completing her mission, because if she doesn't kill her best friend, then the entire kingdom will be ruined. And on her adventures, she meets this guy named Fred, who has a great dog named Langley. And there's adventure, and there's a little bit of magic, and there's humor, and there's some romance, mainly between Langley and Rosie. Spoiler alert, the dog falls in love with the pig. And that's the sweetest romance in this novel. But, you know, there's romance between some of the other characters that you see, but it's not dedicated to romance. That's really such a backseat thing. So, it was a really engaging novel. It took me a long time to read just because it's hardback, and I've traveled a lot this summer, and I don't like to take hardback novels with me when I'm traveling because they're bulky and they're heavy, and if you drop a hardback novel into the ocean, that's a lot more expensive to replace than an old paperback. So it's taken me a while to get through it, but it was so enjoyable, and I kind of made it my mission to finish it this week, and then I made it my mission to finish it today because I was so interested in the story and what would happen with Kira and her best friend Ariana and with Fred and the kingdom itself, and like, would Kira accept all of the parts of her personality and the facets of who she was? Like, is it okay for her, oh my goodness, my bangs, is it okay for her to be a potioner and to have the sight, or does she need to reject, like she's been rejecting this portion of herself, this portion that makes her a witch, her ability to see the future, like she has rejected that for so long, and so when she gets visions, she doesn't understand them, which leads to this whole plot to murder the princess kind of thing, and I don't know, it was just really, really enjoyable. The other thing about this book is that Bridget Zinn, the author, passed away during the publication process, and so she never got to see her novel printed, and I just think it's so sad because although this is a standalone novel, you can read it by itself, you don't feel like any part of the story was left untold. There is potential, though, for it to continue in another book. Not necessarily pick up, but these same characters could have other stories. You could see things that happened before this novel, or things that would happen in the future, or things that would happen with other characters. And so it's sad that those stories won't be told, but even more than that, it's sad that someone who has the ability to write such an enjoyable book won't have that opportunity in the future, and that we as readers will miss out on that opportunity to see what else her stories would have for us. And I just think that whenever you hear about those things happening, or you know about those things happening. It just makes things kind of bittersweet. It made reading this story really, I don't know, it was so good, but the whole time there was this just niggling thought in my head that this would be the only Bridget Zinn book I would ever have the opportunity of reading, and that the reading community as a whole really missed out on a fantastic fantasy voice. So, if you guys enjoy fantasy at all, this is a really, really good. And if you maybe have never read fantasy and you're not sure if you want to get into all of the world building and all of the complicated names and lingo that sometimes comes along with a fantasy novel, this one's really great because short of potion names, there aren't weird words. It's easy to pronounce all of the names. It's easy to pronounce all of the cities and states and places. So this would be a nice delve in for fantasy. It's a young adult novel, so it's good for teens, but even like middle grade kids could read this. So fantastic for the age groups. And yeah, so tomorrow you guys will see Alyssa doing a video about, I have no idea. Hope you guys have a great night. Bye!